Today, I'd like to talk about something crucial that many of us overlook in our pursuit of happiness and success: the power of small, consistent actions, what we can call atomic habits, and how they profoundly impact our mental health. Often, when we think about mental health, we think about major interventions or big solutions. And while these have their place, it's essential to recognize that lasting improvement in mental health, just like in physical health, rarely comes from a single breakthrough. It's actually the result of small, repeated actions, the atomic habits we form over time. This is the philosophy behind James Clear's concept of atomic habits. The idea is that tiny actions, when done consistently, have an enormous impact over time. So why is this concept particularly relevant to mental health? Because our minds respond to patterns. Habits create pathways in our brains, and these pathways guide our thoughts, emotions, and actions. When we build habits that promote positivity, resilience, and mindfulness, we actively shape our minds to be stronger, more focused, and more capable of handling life's challenges. Let's break down this idea of atomic habits into three core parts: the power of small changes, the importance of consistency, and the need for self-compassion. First, let's talk about the power of small changes. Imagine you're standing at the base of a mountain, looking up. The climb seems impossible. The peak seems miles away. But if you focus instead on taking just one step, you're already moving forward. The same goes for mental health. Often, the goal we set for ourselves can seem overwhelming, especially if we're dealing with stress, anxiety, or depression. We might say to ourselves, I want to be happier, or I need to be less anxious. These are big abstract goals that are hard to measure or achieve all at once. Instead, break down these large goals into tiny, manageable actions. Let's say you struggle with anxiety and want to feel more relaxed. Instead of aiming to overcome anxiety, try something as simple as taking 5 minutes each morning to practice deep breathing. 5 minutes a day isn't a big time commitment, but over weeks and months, this small action builds into a habit. It becomes a regular part of your life, one that makes it easier to feel calm and in control. You start to rewire your brain, even if only slightly, to feel a little bit more peaceful. This brings us to the second core idea: consistency. Consistency is where the real magic happens. When we repeat a habit over and over, our brains start to recognize it as part of our routine. We might start off by forcing ourselves to take that 5 minutes for deep breathing each morning. But after a few weeks, it becomes a natural part of our day. We do it without thinking. It's similar to brushing your teeth. You don't wake up wondering if you'll brush your teeth or not. It's a habit that's become automatic. And when a habit becomes automatic, that's when it really starts to influence our lives in meaningful ways. The thing about consistency, though, is that it requires patience. We live in a world that values instant gratification. We want results now, we want to feel better immediately. But with mental health, as with many things in life, real improvement takes time. By building atomic habits, you're planting seeds. These seeds need time to grow, but with each passing day, they grow a little stronger. Eventually, they blossom into something beautiful, something that becomes a true source of mental well-being. And this brings us to the third point: self-compassion. Building new habits, especially when it comes to mental health, isn't always easy. There will be days when we forget, or days when it feels pointless. Sometimes we might feel like we're moving backward. But this is when it's essential to show ourselves kindness. Too often, we're harsh critics of our own progress. We beat ourselves up for not doing enough or for missing a day, but progress isn't about perfection. It's about consistency, and it's about allowing ourselves the space to grow. So, to recap, the power of atomic habits lies in their simplicity, their consistency, and the compassion we bring to ourselves along the way. By embracing small actions like practicing gratitude each morning, taking a few minutes to breathe deeply, or spending just a few moments each night reflecting on the positive parts of our day, we're building a foundation for a healthier mind. Over time, these small actions accumulate. They reshape our mental landscape. They help us build resilience and peace in a way that no single breakthrough could ever accomplish. Imagine where you could be in 6 months or a year if you started one atomic habit today. Maybe that habit is meditating for 5 minutes a day. Or maybe it's making a habit of calling a loved one once a week. Maybe it's going for a 10-minute walk each evening. These small actions, when done consistently, will add up in ways you can't yet see. They'll help you build a life where you feel stronger, more in control, and better equipped to handle whatever challenges come your way. As I wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Every small action you take toward your mental health is an investment. It might not pay off immediately, but it's a deposit into your own well-being. Over time, these deposits add up and they become something substantial. Your mental health is worth this investment. You are worth this investment. So let's start small. Let's be consistent. And above all, let's be kind to ourselves along the way. Remember, it's not about changing everything overnight. It's about building small, sustainable habits that support a happier, healthier mind. The idea behind the power of small changes is rooted in the notion that significant transformations in our lives often begin with tiny, manageable actions. When it comes to mental health, we may set ambitious goals such as wanting to overcome anxiety, achieve happiness, or find inner peace. However, these large goals can feel overwhelming and unattainable, especially when we are struggling with our mental health. Instead of fixating on the end goal, it's more effective to break it down into smaller, actionable steps. For instance, if your overarching goal is to feel less anxious, you might start with simple practices that can be incorporated into your daily routine. Here are some examples of small changes that can have a significant impact. Deep breathing exercises. Start with just 5 minutes each day dedicated to deep breathing. This practice can help reduce anxiety and improve your overall gratitude journaling. Write down 3 things you are grateful for each day. This habit shifts your focus from negative thoughts to short walks. Commit to a 10-minute walk each day. Physical activity has well-documented benefits for mental health and can help elevate your mood. The key to understanding the power of small changes is to recognize their cumulative impact over time. Each small habit you incorporate into your life builds upon the last. Initially, these changes may seem insignificant, but as you consistently practice them, they start to shape your mental landscape. In summary, the power of small changes lies in their ability to transform overwhelming goals into achievable actions. By starting small, you can create a foundation for mental health improvements that can lead to lasting change. Embracing this approach allows you to cultivate resilience and a more positive outlook over time, ultimately enhancing your overall mental well-being. When you engage in a specific action regularly, it becomes part of your daily routine. This regularity is vital for forming new habits because our brains are wired to respond to patterns. For example, if you commit to practicing mindfulness meditation every morning at the same time, your brain will start to expect and crave this practice. Over time, it becomes a natural part of your day, just like brushing your teeth. The more consistent you are with a habit, the more it becomes automatic. This automaticity is crucial because it reduces the mental effort required to engage in the habit. For instance, if you regularly take 5 minutes each day to reflect on positive experiences, over time, this practice may require less conscious thought. You'll find yourself automatically seeking out positive moments throughout your day, which can enhance your overall mood. Consistency creates momentum. When you consistently engage in positive behaviors, you begin to see the benefits, which reinforces your commitment to continue. This positive feedback loop can be incredibly motivating. For example, after a few weeks of daily exercise, you might notice an improvement in your mood and energy levels. This improvement serves as a powerful incentive to maintain the habit, making it more likely that you'll continue to exercise regularly. Improving mental health is rarely an overnight process. It requires time and dedication. Consistency is key to ensuring that the small changes you make today will lead to long-term benefits. Research suggests that it takes about 21 days to form a habit, but this can vary from person to person. The longer you stick with a new habit, the more likely it is to become ingrained in your lifestyle. Life is full of challenges, and there will inevitably be days when maintaining consistency is difficult. Whether due to stress, fatigue, or unexpected events, it's easy to miss a day of your routine. However, consistency doesn't mean perfection. It's about showing up as often as possible. The key is to get back on track as soon as you can. A missed day should not lead to feelings of failing. Instead, view it as a natural part of the journey. Recognizing that setbacks are part of the process helps you maintain your commitment over time. In conclusion, the importance of consistency in building atomic habits for mental health cannot be overstated. By establishing a routine, creating automatic responses, building momentum, and committing to long-term change, you set the stage for meaningful improvements in your mental well-being. Consistency is about creating a lifestyle that supports your mental health, one small action at a time. Embrace it and watch as your efforts compound into lasting positive change. As we come to the end of this discussion on atomic habits for mental health, I want to leave you with a few important thoughts. Remember that the journey toward better mental health is not about achieving perfection, it's about progress and consistency. Every small habit you choose to embrace is a step toward a healthier mind and a more fulfilling life. Investing in your mental health is one of the most important commitments you can make. Just as you wouldn't neglect your physical health, prioritize your mental well-being with the same dedication. Be kind to yourself along the way, recognizing that setbacks are part of the process. Practice self-compassion and remind yourself that growth is a journey, not a race. Surround yourself with supportive people and embrace the power of community. Share your goals, celebrate your victories, and lean on others during challenging times. Together, we can create a nurturing environment that fosters mental well-being. Let's continue to invest in ourselves and each other, and remember, every small change you make today can lead to a brighter tomorrow. Together, we can cultivate a culture of mental well-being and support one another on this journey. Mind power is about recognizing the incredible influence your mind has over your life. Every thought you have, every choice you make, and every action you take originates in your mind. It's the command center that shapes how you interpret the world, how you respond to challenges, and ultimately what you achieve. When you understand that your mind can either be your greatest ally or your biggest obstacle, you start to see the importance of mastering it. An uncontrolled mind is often filled with distractions, doubts, and negative thoughts, which can hold you back from realizing your potential. However, when you take control of your mind, focusing on positive, productive, and goal-oriented thoughts, it becomes a powerful force that pushes you forward. Controlling your mind doesn't mean shutting off your thoughts or pretending like challenges don't exist. It means acknowledging them and then choosing how you respond to them. We all have moments of doubt, fear, or frustration, but here's the thing: your thoughts can be your greatest asset or your worst enemy. You have the power to decide which one they will be. We can't always control the circumstances around us, but we can always control how we think about them. And that shift in perspective is incredibly powerful. Let's look at what it means to truly control your mind. First, it's about discipline. It's easy to let your mind wander, to dwell on the things that make you feel small or powerless. But when you practice mental discipline, you learn to focus your thoughts on what matters. This means setting goals and reminding yourself every day of why those goals are important. It means tuning out negativity and redirecting your mind to solutions instead of problems. Discipline is not something that happens overnight, but with practice, you'll notice that your mind starts to work for you rather than against you. Now, one of the most powerful ways to harness control over your mind is through positive self-talk. We all have that inner voice, and often it's much harsher on us than we would ever be to someone else. Think about it. Would you tell a friend that they're not good enough, that they'll probably fail, or that they don't deserve success? Of course not. So why do we allow those kinds of thoughts in our own minds? The words you tell yourself are the foundation of your mental strength. Positive self-talk builds resilience, confidence, and courage, so whenever you catch yourself being overly critical or negative, stop and replace those thoughts with empowering, supportive ones. Remind yourself that you are capable, that you are strong, and that you are deserving of the things you're working towards. Another critical element in mastering your mind is learning to let go of fear. Fear is a natural emotion, but when it dominates your mind, it can be paralyzing. Fear can stop you from taking risks, from reaching out to others, from embracing new opportunities. But here's the truth: most of the things we fear never actually happen. And if they do, they're usually not as bad as we imagined. Letting go of fear is about focusing on what you want to achieve rather than what you're afraid of losing. Visualize success rather than failure. See yourself thriving rather than merely surviving. When you do this, your mind starts to align with your goals instead of getting tangled up in hypothetical what-ifs. Controlling your mind is also about mastering your emotions. I'm not saying you should ignore your emotions. After all, they're an important part of who you are, but emotions can be fleeting and unreliable. If you let your emotions control you, you'll be tossed around by every high and low that life throws your way. Instead, acknowledge your emotions and then take a step back. Think of your mind as a calm lake. When you let every thought or feeling disturb it, the water becomes choppy and unclear. But when you keep it calm, you can see through to the bottom and you gain clarity. Learn to respond, not react to your emotions. Take that pause, breathe, and decide what action best serves your goals. Let's talk about one more important piece of controlling your mind: consistency. Many people think they can change their mindset by reading a book or listening to a single motivational speech. But controlling your mind requires daily practice, just like anything worth achieving. It means showing up every day, even on the tough days, and choosing to redirect your mind to positive, constructive thoughts. It means putting in the work consistently so that over time, your mind starts to respond automatically to challenges with resilience and optimism. So how do you make this a part of your everyday life? Start small. Make a commitment to spend just a few minutes each day focusing on your thoughts. Identify the negative ones, challenge them, and replace them with positive, empowering statements. Practice gratitude to remind yourself of all the good things in your life. Visualization is another powerful tool. Spend a few minutes each day visualizing your success, imagining yourself achieving your goals, and feeling proud of the work you've put in. These small daily practices add up over time, and before you know it, you'll have transformed the way you think and approach the world. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, and it's yours to control. Don't let it be taken over by fear, by doubt, or by distractions. Take back that control and use it to shape the life you want. It's not easy, but it is possible, and I promise you, it is worth every bit of effort. Remember that every day is a new opportunity to improve, to refocus, and to get one step closer to where you want to be. Start today. Right now, choose one thought that inspires you, motivates you, or makes you. Discipline is the foundation of mental control and a key to achieving any goal. It's the practice of directing your mind toward what truly matters, even when distractions, doubts, or negative thoughts try to pull you off track. Imagine your mind as a muscle that becomes stronger with each disciplined thought and action. Just like training in the gym builds physical strength, regularly choosing where you focus and what you prioritize strengthens your mental resilience and focus. Discipline means making a habit of directing your mind away from unproductive thoughts like worry or self-doubt and toward constructive, goal-oriented ones. It's about being intentional with your thoughts rather than letting them run on autopilot. This practice doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it's about reframing your thoughts to focus on your strengths and potential, even when things get tough. For example, instead of thinking, "I'll never figure this out," try, "This is challenging, but I'll find a way through it." Positive self-talk helps you approach obstacles with a growth mindset, reminding you that setbacks are part of the journey and that you have the strength to overcome them. To master your emotions, start by becoming more aware of them. When you feel a strong emotion, pause and take a moment to understand why it's happening. Are you feeling frustrated because of an external situation, or is it something internal like self-doubt? This small pause helps you separate yourself from the emotion, so you can see it clearly without getting swept away by it. It's like stepping back from a painting to get a better view. You gain perspective and can respond more effectively. A powerful part of emotional mastery is developing the habit of responding, not reacting. Reacting is often an immediate, emotional response to a trigger, while responding involves taking a moment to choose the best course of action. Let's say you receive negative feedback that frustrates you. Instead of snapping back or shutting down, emotional mastery helps you respond calmly and constructively, focusing on how to use the feedback to improve.